area. Operation Dry Water. We talk with law enforcement about what they're doing to keep waterways safe as the 4th of July approaches. Fighting the heat, we talk to firefighters who deal with the hot weather as they battle the flames. And found alive. 12 members of a soccer team and their coach found alive after floodwaters trapped them inside a cave for more than a week. Those stories and more coming up right now on News 5.
Accurate, reliable, getting the facts right. News 5 in high definition starts right now.
Thanks for joining us for News 5. I'm PJ Johnson.
And I'm Julie Newman. A company here in our area is expanding, bringing dozens of jobs to the area. A.Y. McDonald Manufacturing Company in Elizabethton broke ground today on a new 100,000 square foot expansion. Company officials say it will be an $8 million expansion, doubling the size of its operation in Elizabethton and creating 36 new jobs. A.Y. McDonald Manufacturing produces waterworks, plumbing, pumps, and natural gas products. The Iowa-based company began operating in Elizabethton 19 years ago and right now employs 144 full-time workers. 4 people are facing charges in Carter County after officers say video reveals one of them beating a man with a baseball bat. Casey Miller is charged with attempted first-degree murder and aggravated kidnapping. Investigators say there is video on her cell phone showing her beating a man with a bat. Officers say the video also shows 3 men helping her. Deputies say Matthew Dye, Ross Kelly, and Michael Silcox were the men in that video. All have been charged with attempted first-degree murder. All 4 suspects being held in the Carter County Detention Center.
The upcoming holiday is when law enforcement focuses on reducing boating under the influence and the danger it presents. Operation Dry Water takes place on lakes and rivers across the country. The Virginia Department of Game and Inland Fisheries has conservation police officers on area lakes trying to detect when people may be boating under the influence. Alcohol use is the leading factor for fatal boating accidents.
Designated driver works just as fine on the water as it does on the road.
Conservation police and wildlife resource agencies in Tennessee are both participating in Operation Dry Water. They'll be out throughout the holiday.
The Tennessee Highway Patrol says charges are pending after a driver fled from authorities late last night in Johnson City. Take a look. These are pictures from viewers from the scene. The driver and her passenger, both juveniles, were hurt when the car they were in crashed near the intersection of Highway Bristol and Highway and Roan Street. Moments before the car hit a utility pole, officers had tried to pull over the car for reckless driving.
The new Bristol, Virginia City Council met today. They endorsed leadership for the next fiscal year with the goal of growing revenue and cutting debt. It was Neil Osborne's first meeting as a newly elected member of the council, replacing Archie Hubbard. Randy Eads, who served as the interim city manager for the last year, was appointed to the position on a permanent basis. And Mayor Kevin Mumpower was voted to another one-year term to continue his focus on improving city finances. Kevin Wingard also voted to serve another year as vice mayor. New faces joined Abingdon Town Council. The most recent election brought 3 new members after incumbents did not seek re-election. During this morning's organizational meeting, council members picked Wayne Craig as the new mayor. Council members also said they're eager to move forward, especially after the recent contentions over the development of the Meadows project.
I think the council is going to do everything they can to move this project forward on schedule, and we hope that we'll establish a much better relationship with Food City than we've had in the past.
Craig also says the search for the new town manager is ongoing and it could take several more months. He does say they have more than 30 applicants, and right now the police chief, Tony Sullivan, is serving in that post in the interim.
A summer heat wave like the one we're in right now can be dangerous, especially for firefighters. Heat exhaustion, heat strokes, and dehydration always concerns when battling a blaze. But they can happen even faster when temperatures rise into the 90s. Barry Brickey with the Kingsport Fire Department tells us the crews work in shorter shifts over the summer to keep them from overheating. Kingsport also has a mobile hydration station that it brings to big fires.
Our firefighters will work in shifts. You don't want to overwork them or get them to the point to where they could collapse. Plus, whatever you're carrying, whether it's a hose line, a bag of some kind, an axe, or anything, it could be a lot of extra weight, and so you're going to use a lot of energy and you're going to sweat a lot, so we've got to make sure that they stay hydrated.
Fire Department's hydration station is a one-of-a-kind vehicle. News 5's Mike Lucas will show us more about that coming up on News 5 at 6.
This just in. It's hot, and it's only going to get hotter.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Dirks joining us now. Dave, we could see a heat index near 100 degrees tomorrow.
Yes, we could. It is some good old-fashioned sweating weather out there, that's for sure. I thought we'd put things in perspective. You know, it's supposed to be hot, right? Well, let's see how it compares to an average season, summer season. So far, with today's high in the low 90s, makes 9 so far this year that we've been at or above 90. Average to date would be around 5, so we're ahead of schedule there. Last year, interestingly enough, we had only had 1 day at or above 90, and average for the entire season in the Tri-Cities is 19. So we are on course, I think, to probably get there, and we're going to see more 90-degree temperatures tomorrow. Right now, temperatures range from 83 in Grundy to 91 in Rogersville. We're holding now in the upper 80s in the Tri-Cities, but it feels more like low to mid-90s with that heat and humidity combined. Power 5 Doppler radar showing a couple of isolated showers just to the north of Bristol here between Benhams and Fleeners. That's drifting off to the north, and there have been some heavier downpours, leaving Smith County now to portions of Tazewell County as well. And it looks like lows tonight will be dropping down into the upper 60s to low 70s, but check out the afternoon highs, which will likely reach about 90 to 95. And as you said, our feels like temperature will be near 100. So make sure you're taking precautions to keep your body and your family safe. But anyway, I'm timing some cooler air heading for the Tri-Cities, and I'll let you know when that's coming in just a couple minutes.
All right, Davey, thank you. Rescuers found 12 boys and their soccer coach alive 9 days after they went missing in a flooded cave in northern Thailand. Footage released by the Thai Navy shows that the group is alive inside the cave. They'd taken shelter on higher ground. Thai authorities say even though the group's been found, they're not out of danger. Authorities tell us it's a complicated and dangerous process to get these young boys out of that cave.
Harvey Weinstein has been indicted on additional sex crime charges. According to the Manhattan District Attorney, a grand jury has indicted the 66-year-old with an additional count of criminal sexual act in the first degree for a forcible sexual act against a third woman in 2006. They also charged Weinstein with 2 counts of predatory sexual assault, a felony which carries a minimum sentence of 10 years. Weinstein is already facing charges of rape in the first degree as well as sexual criminal act in the first degree.
We're getting a closer look at the man accused of last week's killing spree at the Capital Gazette newspaper. Police say that Jared Ramos opened fire inside the newsroom, killing 5 people and wounding 2 more. Tonight, in an interview with NBC News, we're going to hear from a woman who says she was stalked online by Ramos, and we'll learn how that incident played into the deadly attack. Here's Jay Gray with details.
I still don't feel safe.
That fear keeps Lori from sharing her full name or showing her face, but she does want you to hear her story.
One thing that I do feel now is that he can no longer silence me.
She's talking about suspected Capital Gazette gunman Jared Ramos, who Lori says cyberstalked her for years. In an exclusive interview with NBC News, she says it started with an email.
To ask if I remembered him from high school.
After trading emails for a few months, Lori said the conversation took a sudden and dramatic turn when Ramos said she wasn't responding fast enough.
He said, F you, go kill yourself. You're going to need a protective order.
She did get police involved, and in July of 2011, Ramos pleaded guilty to criminal harassment. The Capital Gazette wrote an article about the case, and Ramos sued the paper for defamation. That lawsuit was dismissed in 2015. But Ramos continued to write negative and threatening posts about the paper online until police say he walked into the Capital Gazette newsroom and opened fire, killing 5 employees and wounding 2 others. Lori grieves for the victims of that attack, and now, even with Ramos behind bars, she won't let her guard down.
It has, I think, changed the fiber of my being.
Her life changed, while in Annapolis they mourned 5 lives lost. Jay Gray, NBC News.
Local soybean farmers concerned over the recent trade disputes. We'll take a closer look at the potential impact here. Plus, a push to abolish ICE or immigration and customs enforcement. But what would replace it? That story coming up. Stay with us.
Yeah, this is a live look from our Johnson City camera along State of Franklin. Traffic seems to be moving very smoothly today. Not a whole lot of traffic as you head out for your commute home. Abolish ICE. It's the new rallying cry for liberals and progressives. But will this help Democrats win in the midterm elections? News 5's national correspondent Michelle Macaluso has more about the movement.
No hate, no fear.
Thousands protesting President Trump's immigration policies over the weekend, some calling to abolish Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, and a growing list of progressive Democrats support eliminating the agency.
We need to rebuild our immigration system from top to bottom, starting by replacing ICE with something that reflects our morality.
President Trump is slamming the move and says crime would be rampant and uncontrollable. Harvard Law professor emeritus Alan Dershowitz.
Oversight is fine, but abolishing ICE as a matter of policy makes no sense. Reforming it, obviously, is a good idea.
A new Harvard-Harris poll found that 69% of Americans do not want to see ICE disbanded. Immigration policy analyst Alex Nowrasta says the movement could help Democrats in the midterms by getting out the liberal base.
Merely getting rid of another alphabet soup agency is not going to make that happen. You have to change the actual policies.
Meanwhile, some prominent Democrats have stopped short of calling to get rid of ICE.
You abolish ICE now, you still have the same president with the same failed policies. Whatever you replace it with is just going to still reflect what this president wants to do.
3 House Democrats are drafting legislation to turn that rallying cry into policy. The plan is to end ICE within 6 months while also creating a commission. But the bill virtually has no chance in passing a Republican-controlled Congress. On Capitol Hill, I'm Michelle Macaluso.
Soybean farmers in Tennessee and Virginia are waiting to see whether trade disputes could take away their biggest customer. According to the USDA, approximately 50% of soybeans grown in the U.S. are exported to China. Soybeans are Tennessee's largest crop, and Virginia is coming off its highest production year on record. In retaliation to tariffs on steel and aluminum, China has threatened to impose tariffs on American goods, including soybeans.
Well, that's about all you can do is get your politicians to sort of vote for something good. If they'll help you or not, that's a big issue right there.
News 5's John Engel is breaking down just how much American soybean producers stand to lose in a trade war with China. That story coming up all new at 6.
The Scott County Animal Shelter has been taking in stray dogs from Bristol, Virginia for the last 3 months. And they're going to continue to take in strays for another 3 months while Bristol begins to build its own animal shelter. Still ahead on News 5, we're going to break down how the intake of extra dogs has been impacting that shelter. Plus, residents in Kingsport say a final farewell to a school that they attended years ago. Stay with us.
The Storm Track 5 weather team, alerting you to severe weather danger.
Well, we do have a little bit of cloud cover overhead the Tri-Cities that has been sheltering us a little bit from the sunlight at times. Showers have been few and far between, but we're looking live here. Home Trust Bank Camp, downtown Bristol. Got a little blue sky, but also some clouds as well. But current temperature at 88. High this afternoon so far at 90, so 4th day in a row at or above 90 degrees. But check out that dew point at 70 degrees. That takes into effect how much moisture is in the atmosphere, and you add that to the temperature. Feels like right now 93 degrees in the Tri-Cities, and those heat indexes or indices range from 98 degrees in Rogersville currently, 88 Elizabethton, 90 Irwin. It feels like 88 in Wise, about 93 in Abingdon, and currently 86 the heat index in Marion. So, Power 5 Doppler radar not working real hard, but a couple of splash and dash showers right near the Cock and Greene County line near St. James. A little bit of a shower here south of Greenville. Otherwise, some pretty decent storms with heavy rain came out of Smith County, pushing up into Tazewell County. cloudy, a little bit of a shower north of Bristol, as I pointed out earlier. But the heavier rain with some cloud-to-ground lightning strikes off to the northeast of Tazewell and moving north toward West Virginia. But the afternoon heating responsible for the showers and thunderstorms that you can see on our satellite and radar. So I'd say over the next few hours, we'll see most of this activity begin to wane. Could be a shower in spots through 11, 12 o'clock tonight, but most of us will stay dry. 77 degrees at 11 p.m. We'll be dropping down to about 68 with some patchy fog in the morning. But check out this, my friends. Another day in the 90s, and it's not just 90. I mean, we're well up into the 90s. Bristol, Kingsport, Johnson City, it looks like mid-90s or so for much of the valley areas, including Greenville and Rogersville, about 93 in Irwin, 86 Roan Mountain, so a little cool air across some of the higher elevations. Looks like about 94 in Grundy and Abingdon, around 93, Gate City at 94. But if you throw in the heat and the humidity combined, this is what it's going to feel like on your Tuesday, and that's why it's a good idea maybe to do some of that outdoor activity, the yard work or whatever, in the early morning and then later in the evening, because notice by 2 p.m. the heat index is going to be up to 98, 94 at 4 p.m. with a feels-like temperature of 100 degrees. So play it safe. Make sure you're drinking plenty of water. As far as any rain tomorrow, kind of like today, a lucky few may see a quick burst of a shower or a thunderstorm, but rain chance only about 20%. Of course, as we head into the 4th of July holiday on Wednesday, much of the same, starting out with mostly sunny skies, and let's say around or after lunch, we could see a few pop-up showers. But again, on Wednesday, the rain chance only about 20%, but a few of us may see a hit or miss storm. 6 p.m. temperature on the 4th, about 90, 82 at 8 p.m., and a 10 p.m. temperature at 78 with partly cloudy skies. Now, today's high of 90 was quite a ways away from the record high of 97, but notice tomorrow, forecasting a high in the mid-90s. The record is 95, as it is on the 4th as well. So the next couple of days, we're going to be pretty close to those record temperatures, but the next weather maker is on the move. Good news if you're tired of the heat, because we'll see highs tomorrow, Wednesday and Thursday near or above 90. But take a look at what happens to those temperatures by late week. By Friday, only in the 80s, and that's going to be with a cold front that slides through, gives us a good chance of showers and thunderstorms on Friday into Saturday, and then I expect some cooler air, less humid air to work into the forecast. Second half of the weekend especially, but there will be a pretty good chance of some showers and thunderstorms, which I guess we can use Friday and into Saturday, but highs in the 80s much of early next week with rain chances going away.
93 and 94. It's
yeah,
getting crazy.
It's going to be really hot the next 3 days.
Wow. All right, Davey, thank you.
Sure.
The city of Bristol, Virginia has been planning to build a new animal shelter since December. Now the city finally approving what it needs to break ground. Still ahead on News 5, take a look at when and where the new shelter will be built. Also ahead, an old school coming down to make way for new construction, but the memories remain for some in Kingsport. That story when we come back.
This is an image from the T-Dot camera that runs alongside Interstate 81 near Kingsport. No problems right now if you're headed out that way this afternoon. Meanwhile, speaking of Kingsport, there's a lane closure you need to know about. Beginning today, city crews will be installing some new stormwater and sanitary sewer infrastructure along East Sullivan Street. That's between Main Street and Oak Street. City officials say it's going to last about 6 weeks. The closure will be in effect from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. each day.
Bristol, Virginia will break ground on a new animal shelter in the next few days. And while it's being built, the city will continue to send impounded dogs to the Scott County, Virginia Animal Shelter. News 5's Ellie Romano found out there is a limit to the number of dogs Scott County can take. So the pressure is on to get Bristol's shelter up and running.
For the past 3 months, the Scott County Animal Shelter has been taking in stray dogs from Bristol. The county has agreed to continue this arrangement for another 3 months while Bristol builds its own shelter.
Right now, there's 21 dogs at the shelter. 7 of them are Bristol dogs.
The shelter has agreed to take in a maximum of 30 dogs from Bristol over the next 3 months.
There's Scott County dogs coming in every week. And when you start bringing dogs from another district, well, it takes shelter space where we would have sent Scott County dogs.
The shelter can hold a max of 30 dogs at one time. It is a kill shelter and could resort to euthanasia if it begins to overflow. Volunteer Billy Denton and the Humane Society have been working tirelessly to help move the dogs out of the shelter and to rescues up north.
We're hoping within the next few days we can have them puppies out of there and the numbers will be back down to, 8 or 9, something easily, controllable, something we can work with that doesn't overwhelm the shelter.
Bristol city manager says the 3,000 square foot, $125,000 shelter will be built here on Shakesville Road. This may seem like an empty plot of land now, but in a few short days, the city will break ground on the Bristol, Virginia animal shelter. And the city manager says it will be completed in no more than 90 days.
In December, the city decided we needed to go ahead and build our own shelter. We've been in the process of that. We've been working with the state in order to get plans approved. The plans are now approved. We should be up within 60 to 90 days.
Bristol's animal control has stopped collecting cats and won't start again until the shelter is completed. In the meantime, Denton and the Humane Society will continue to work nonstop to make sure the Scott County shelter doesn't reach capacity and be forced to put down animals. Ellie Romano, News 5 WCYB.
The last walls of the old Dixon Elementary School in Kingsport are coming down. The new apartment complex is going to go up in its place. From 1933 to 1985, Dixon Elementary gave thousands of students a start on education. Now, only 2 walls and a pile of brick stand where they used to have classrooms. One former student visits the site every day to look back on his memories of the old school.
I'm still friends with my friend from kindergarten. Since day 2 of kindergarten, we're still friends. We still talk all the time on Facebook, so I hate to see the place go, but they said it was too cost effective to fix it.
Coming up in the next half hour, News 5's Christy Calcagno shows us memories of Dixon School coming back to life through old photographs and those pictures.
Oh, I'm looking forward to seeing that.
That'll be cool.
That's going to do it for us right now.
But News 5 continues with Rebecca Pepin after the break.